Hi, my name is Florian Wilk. I'm the director of CMC in Georgia, in Tbilisi, and we are happy to help you in setting up your business in the Republic of Georgia. If you are interested in opening a business in Georgia, hiring staff, or opening a branch or office of your company, we are happy to help you also with your accounting, with your translations, your business setup, especially if it's an international structure with different jurisdictions involved. Today I want to tell you something about the LLC in Georgia, Limited Liability Company, which is the main type of incorporations in the Republic of Georgia. It's not like a US LLC taxed on a personal level. It's full entity taxable on the entity level. So not to mix up with the US LLC. This is very important if you're familiar with the structures in the United States of America. In Georgia we have a different understanding of the LLC. It's more like a classical limited liability by shares, or limited company by shares, sorry, in United Kingdom, Malta, Cyprus. So this is the same structure. You have minimum one shareholder for the LLC. It means this is the owner of the company, so you don't need two shareholders like in some other jurisdictions. One shareholder is absolutely fine. It can be a company or any other legal entity or an individual. If you want to work with local banks, I suggest to have an individual shareholder because there is less risk involved for the bank, let's say. It's a more simple structure and is much more likely that the bank will accept your company for opening a bank account. So my advice is always to start with the individual shareholder at the beginning. You might change the structure later. Maybe you want to have a tax optimized structure, but this is actually the second step. For the beginning, you should always use an individual. And you need, of course, a director of the company. I strongly suggest to have a director in Georgia, to hire a director in Georgia to make sure that your company is tax resident in the Republic of Georgia. Because if you are tax resident, for example, in France and you are managing the business from France and you don't have enough substance or place of management in Georgia, it might happen that the tax authorities in France consider your LLC as tax resident in France, and then it could be a very negative outcome for you and your company. So if you are not yourself on a regular basis in the Republic of Georgia and you don't plan to be resident there at least some time of the year, then you should always hire a local director in the Republic of Georgia to make sure that on a long term your company is considered to be tax resident. Of course, if you are resident in a country without any income tax, or in a country with territorial tax system like Paraguay, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Malta, or any other jurisdiction with a similar tax system, then you don't really have to worry about that. Depends on the local CFC rules, of course. If you need any advice, by the way, we are happy to assist you, to advise you. And we have clients from many different jurisdictions in Europe, in Asia, in America, South and North, of course. So we're happy to advise you on your personal structure, on the DTA situation with your home country and the countries where you are involved in your business. And just text me on my number. You find it below that video. So coming back to the structure of the LLC, you have your shareholder and your director, which is ideally a local director in the Republic of Georgia. Then you need a minimum share capital. Actually, by law, there's no minimum share capital. It could be 1 Georgian lari technically. I suggest personally to use at least 1,000 Georgian lari as a share capital. You can use more, but 1,000 lari I think is usually fitting for most businesses. This is like roughly 350 euros. So just for you to get an idea about the exchange rate, and you don't have to pay this capital into the bank account. As a formality, you should have, in my opinion, at least 1,000 Georgian lari as a share capital. There's no secretary. There's no position of secretary in a Georgian LLC. So this you can just forget about. You don't need it. There's nothing like that in Georgia. So it's a pretty simple setup. You want to be sure you have a registered address, that your business is somewhere incorporated, on some local address in Georgia, of course. It can't be anywhere else in the world. Like in some jurisdictions it's possible, in Georgia definitely not. You need a local address, and the owner of that property has to sign to use this address, and there is a lot of providers who give an address for a very small fee, and you can use their business address. But be very careful with this, because you might end up to be registered in a storeroom or in a garage or in some village in the mountains, and this doesn't look good for business partners, for banks, for any kind of providers, financial service companies you're working with for your payments. So don't use something like that. I really advise strongly not to go for these address option. Make sure to buy a property, or to rent a property at least, or to use a solid virtual office service, which are not used by any scam businesses or shady businesses, because you have to understand that if there's a cheap service for a registered address, you will have thousands of business owners from every different kind of activities and countries, and also unfortunately shady operations. You don't want to be connected with that. So make sure to do your due diligence to check where you're getting your address. It's really important, and don't end up in any storeroom or garage, because you can basically not use such a company, and you will spend a lot of money for the company, little money for the address. At the end of the day, you have a useless entity. Even if you change the address, it's still in the records, so it might affect your KYC procedure and compliance procedure with the banks. So a good bank will definitely not accept you, even if it's in your history of the company. So really be careful with this. Make sure you get a proper, solid, registered office, registered address for your business. Choose any company name. The company name can be completely flexible. You don't have any limitations. It means it's not important. There's no check with other existing companies. There's even a possibility to have 2 company names or 5 times the same company name. There's no restrictions at all, because it's always important what is the registration number of the company, not the name. So you want to make sure on all your business documents there is the registration number of the company. So just make sure that you have no conflict with any existing business, but technically any company name is possible. There's no restrictions at all. That's the main facts about your LLC in Georgia. If you're interested to open a business in Georgia to take advantage of the tax incentives, you have no corporate income tax for IT software companies. You are exempt from corporate income tax in the free industrial zones in Georgia, and you have great banking options there. So if you are interested in setting up your business in Georgia, I'm happy if you contact me, if we can settle a meeting in Tbilisi or anywhere else in the world, and I'm happy to advise you. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a great day, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, like my video, and share it with your friends and business partners. Thanks a lot. Your Florian Wilk.